I'm talking obviously about Polymarket. Polymarket is a political gambling site. I haven't talked a lot about the political gambling sites here because like, a lot of it is kind of silly goose nonsense to me. But uh, A, there's real money at play. And B, you just have to recognize what happened, which was Polymarket was pretty bullish on Trump throughout the fall of the election, more bullish than the polls, even though, our friend Nick Cohn at the New York Times poll was decently close. So I think that's interesting in a couple of ways. One, it shows the prediction markets that there was maybe a coincidence, but at least that there was some logic to them.
Tim Miller of the Bulwark broke down the odds of some of the various appointees that Donald Trump is trying to fill up his cabinet with. We could call this Donald Trump's clown car. Tim Miller broke all this down. We're going to take a look at clips from the Bulwark with Tim Miller. I will share my thoughts on all of this as well. Let's check this out together.
And two, that they might be kind of Trumpy, right? Like there might be, it seems to me like there's a greater number of people from the right who are playing the markets, which might skew the markets in certain ways and might give us certain insights. So I say all that to say that what we've seen in the poly market for the cabinet picks has surprised me a lot. And the short of it is this. The prediction markets, as of Sunday night here, think that another one of Donald Trump's nominees won't get through, Tulsi Gabbard, and that two others are very tenuous. And that goes kind of against what I had assumed, but I'd been more bullish on Matt Gaetz than a lot of people in the conventional wisdom, and that the markets were. So let's go look at these together, because I think it gives us a sense, for the possibility that another Trump nominee goes down, which would just be disastrous. And B, might give you a little opportunity to get on the action yourself. I can give you a little tip on what I think's coming. But really quick, let's look at the Gaetz chart here. The Gaetz chart had never really thought he was going to get confirmed. It looks like the highest it ever was 45 cents there around November 13th. It goes down, got down as low as 20 cents November 16th, and it was sitting at 31 cents, 31% likely that he would get confirmed the day that he dropped out, where you can see the chart drops to zero. So the market was pretty spot on Gaetz. The no side was a pretty clear favorite throughout the entire process, and it ended up being no. So let's now go look up at these other nominees. So if you just look at the Gabbard graph here, her number has been going down quite a bit. It was up much higher than Gaetz's 82 cents, yes, not too long ago, and it has just tanked in the last day, down to 46 cents there, possibly as a result of some of these more, like what I call the secret normies, the quiet senators, people you've never heard of, Mike Round, South Dakota, Jim Risch, Idaho, have been giving some negative sounding quotes about Gabbard. So maybe that's what's driving this number going down here to about 48 cents. Obviously, this is a dynamic market. By the time you see this, might have changed a little bit. But at that level, I think that's a pretty good bet to be on the yes side of Tulsi. But I'm kind of encouraged that Polymarket is so discouraged, to put it that way, to think that right now she is in line to not get confirmed.
Tulsi Gabbard being the lowest odds of any of these people surprises me a bit. It doesn't surprise me that much that Matt Gaetz dropped out because so many members of Congress hate Matt Gaetz. I don't know what members of Congress think of Tulsi Gabbard. I would suspect maybe that a lot of the Democrats don't like her since she's a former Democrat and has switched over to Republican. And I'm not saying she's a good choice by any means, but compared to somebody like Pete Hegseth, who seems completely unqualified. The only qualification that he has is that he was in the military. He served in Iraq and Afghanistan, but he has no, the American military, the Department of Defense, is the largest organization in the United States. And this guy, Pete Hegseth, has no experience running an organization like that. The guy was in the military and then he's been a talking head on Fox News. So he's completely unqualified. So I would think there would be even some of the Republicans that would be a little bit concerned, even if they just want to bow down to Trump, that this guy, if Trump put the guy as head of HUD or something like that, that would be one thing. But to put him in charge of the most powerful military in the world is frightening, and especially considering some of the kooky views that this guy has. Again, Tulsi has some kooky views, RFK Jr. has some kooky views, but Pete Hegseth, I think, is the scariest of all of them, considering what he's going to be in charge of, potentially.
And that there are two others that are super tenuous. Let's look at Pete Hegseth. Hegseth is right now at 61% chance, so you can buy no on just 40 cents there. And his number, he was super high. He was up at 89 cents initially, and got down. Looks like he was as low as 47 cents and has started to creep back up. So, to me, I think that Hegseth and Gabbard, like, they're different trajectories, right? Because with Tulsi, you're making the bet that some of these more traditional national security Republicans vote her down. With Hegseth, you're kind of making a bet that his personal foibles are what take him down. So I actually think it's probably right that Tulsi looks worse at this moment. Then you have RFK Jr., which I think is an intriguing one as well. We've talked on the podcast about how Mitch McConnell, who knows where he'll end up being, but is not in line with the anti-vax views of RFK Jr. at all. I could see McConnell being against either Gabbard or RFK, potentially.
Like I've been saying for months, these safe and effective vaccines are the way to defend ourselves and our families from this terrible virus. They're also how we stay on offense against COVID as a country. All Americans should speak with their doctors and get vaccinated.
Or potentially not, but I think he's a wild card. Then you've got Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski out there on any of these. If you look at the RFK chart, his number is going down as well, similarly to Tulsi's. It's gone from a high of about 80 there, down to its near its low. Right now it looks like 63 was the low, 64% likelihood is where he is at right now. So some signs of trouble in the markets for the Trump nominees, I guess is the long story short here. And you have a market here where there's a lot of players that are paying attention to the inside game, paying attention to the gossip. I think there's a lot of dumb money here, which is why I've always been hesitant to pay attention to the prediction markets. A lot of people don't know anything besides what you could see on Twitter are making these bets. But if you just consider that there's some smart money.
And I'm sure Tim Miller is right with what he's saying here about, I've never done any of these betting markets like this. It's something I personally would stay away from. But like he said, there's probably a lot of dumb money in here. But it's interesting to see, gives you a little bit of an idea, maybe a glimpse into maybe some of the thought processes in Washington regarding Trump's, I call it a clown car, just how many of them are inexperienced. And it's just such a bizarre mentality that particularly people on the right have, that they want people in here running our government who have no experience. There's no other situation that I can think of in which somebody would say, like, yeah, I need an accountant. And their friend says, oh, hey, my barber can do your taxes for you. And the other guy says, oh, well, he has experience doing taxes. Oh, no, he's never taken an accounting class in his life. He has no idea what he's doing, but he'll be an outsider and he'll be disruptive. It's like there's no other situation in which anybody ever thinks that way. But we've got this where people want that in our government. It's just insanity. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think about, we've had Matt Gaetz go down, fortunately. You've got this Hegseth who just seems to be a nut. He has the Christian nationalist, white nationalist tattoos, and he has, these women coming forward with accusations against him. So I think he would be a good possibility of him maybe going down. I don't know about Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr., but let me know in the comments who you think might be the next to fall, if any, of Donald Trump's picks. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing in this channel and you want to see more content like this. Channel's growing really quickly. I want to continue to grow. So if you like what I'm doing and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.